Donald Trump is getting desperate, so desperate that he's now trying to use Dr. Fauci's likeness for his reelection effort and taking his words out of context in advertisements that are airing in NFL games, which get NFL Red Zone so you don't have to see this crap. This is what the ad said.
President Trump is recovering from the coronavirus, and so is America. Together, we rose to meet the challenge, protecting our seniors, getting them life-saving drugs in record time, sparing no expense. President Trump tackled the virus head-on, as leaders should.
I can't imagine that anybody could be doing more.
We'll get through this together. We'll live carefully, but not afraid.
I love the two women touching noses, mask to mask. That's beautiful. That's Trump's America, right? And they're Aryan. That's perfect.
Oh, but there's a couple black guys. There's a couple young black guys. So, they must be supporters of Trump as well. We encompass everyone. Everyone can get the coronavirus. Oh, but suddenly there's masks on.
Yeah.
It's weird how that works.
Right. Yeah, that's like some weird porno that Trump likes. Okay, so the problem is that Dr. Fauci was not referring to Trump at all in that ad. As you may have suspected, Donald Trump and his team aren't exactly honest. And by the way, Trump has been publicly bashing Fauci, but now he needs him. So he's just splicing up his words and putting them in ads because he's down by double digits in almost every major poll. Besides being from all the way back in March when the coronavirus was still a very new issue and the cases and death toll were far lower, Fauci was praising the work of his fellow members on the White House Coronavirus Task Force and those in the agencies that were supporting their work. Fauci's words were not a compliment directed at the president, and he released a statement to CNN denouncing the ad as being made without my permission and characterized his comments as being part of a broad statement I made months ago about the efforts of federal public health officials. So Trump is trying to co-opt praise for healthcare workers. The doctor also reiterated that he had never publicly endorsed a political candidate. Trump responded to the whole kerfuffle on what else? His Twitter account retweeting a journalist who had quoted his campaign spokesman, Tim Murtaugh, calling the comments Dr. Fauci's own words. They are indeed Dr. Fauci's own words, tweeted Trump, praising himself for having done a phenomenal job and promising vaccines and cures long ahead of projections. But this is as the White House is literally trying to hide Fauci from the press, going above and beyond to make sure they're muffling him as Trump is using his face, his words out of context to try to get himself reelected. And Fauci says there that he's not gonna endorse a presidential candidate. Guys, we all know it wouldn't be Trump. We all know it wouldn't be Trump. Let's be real here. So,
can I do one thing real quick?
Sorry, go on.
And before you go to the next horrible part of this, which actually is my favorite part of this story, which we'll get to. So you have Fauci coming out and having to put out a statement saying, "Oh yeah, he took my words out of context." And again, with the Trump administration or the campaign, maybe in this particular point, taking his words and maybe, what if we just slice 5 to 6 to 10 words of anyone together? Yeah, those are your words. Like there's not even an attempt to hide it. Those are his words. Sure, at some point, Trump said the words, "I hate the United States of America." I can take those words and put them in one sentence and then say, "Those are your words, bro. You said it, right?" And then who's gonna buy into that? Nobody, because they're gonna see it as a joke. But they know their supporters will take any kind of an indication of having a chance to have a ridiculous, idiotic argument that means nothing and use it as some kind of a campaign rallying cry. It doesn't matter. So again, I always feel like I come back to that same question. Is it that they don't care, or is it that they think they're actually going to convince anyone? They're not gonna convince anyone who knows, who is a normal thought process. The point is just to put it out there and have people talk about this enough that a few of them will glum on and go, "Hey, when they get into some kind of conservative circles, Dr. Fauci totally said that Donald Trump is doing the best job possible. There's nothing more he could possibly do. It's gonna be used, it doesn't matter, as long as he can use it."
Yeah, it's as cynical as possible. It's like playing on people's lack of information. And they're trying to literally, as I alluded to before, prevent Fauci from providing information because it shows how awful of a job Donald Trump has done with the response to COVID-19, with 210,000 Americans dead, plus all the things we know, an economic depression looming, an inability to get the second stimulus package, which we desperately need, and Pelosi's a little responsible for, by the way, but I'm going on a tangent. They're hiding Fauci from the press. ABC News' John Carl opened this week Sunday morning by calling out the White House over a lack of access to top health experts like Dr. Anthony Fauci. Carl said the White House wouldn't allow Fauci or other medical experts to appear on the show to talk about the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. And he made a point of saying Fauci himself was more than willing to join us. And this isn't even the first time one of the big Sunday shows has directly called out the White House on this topic. Of course, the White House disputes this, but Carl had receipts. He screenshotted his requests to the White House so that he could talk to Dr. Fauci on his news program when Alyssa Farah tried to say, no, we definitely didn't try to hide Dr. Fauci from you, and you haven't emailed us or requested us. Well, he has the receipts, screenshots, boom, bang. What do you know? The Trump administration is lying about something.
I'm trying to figure out again, what is the motivations? Just say that he's too busy. Say that we don't want him on. Nobody, I mean, we already know that. So again, who are you trying to fool? Because again, there was a subsequent tweet after this where was it Miss Farah, Alyssa Farah, where she had to admit after the receipts were put out there, because they'll only admit it once you've proven it to them 7 different ways, and then they'll quietly say something like, "Oh well, yeah, I mean, yeah, of course you're right, yeah, sure, yeah, you're right. Now that I see the receipts, but I get so many emails every day. I get a lot of emails every day too. I do. And if sometimes there are pitches from PR people who want to get someone on the show, and I haven't read them because I don't read many of them. Full disclosure. And if that same person runs into me in the streets because I happen to know them, they'd be like, "Hey, Jayar, did you get my email about getting someone on the show?" I'd be like, "I probably got it, but I definitely didn't read it." I mean, anybody who knows me know that I'll say that about my email. Not that, "Oh yeah, you never sent it. Look at you, you're lying, fake news." Why go through all that? Just say you didn't read it because you didn't want him on the show. Is that going to turn anybody against you that's in support of you? No. So I honestly don't know the end game here.
Well, they don't think strategically. I mean, that's basically it. Like Trump lucked into having a really potent election strategy in 2016 that was anti-establishment. That's basically all he needed, and he hit Hillary in the right ways. But we've now seen when it comes to governance, when it comes to basic strategy, when he is the one in power and not the brick thrower from the outside, him and his entire team, they've got no clue. And that's why they're down to Biden, who has no message and can't talk. So that's the reality.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, Jayar. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.